I think we've all been there where we're excited about a brand new camera and we want to go out and create with it as much as we possibly can. But a few weeks or months after buying that brand new camera, you slowly start to realize that it maybe wasn't quite the right choice. Not because it is a bad camera, but because it might not be quite right for you. Because here is the truth that no one wants to admit. Every single camera that you buy now is great. They're all incredibly capable, they're amazing at taking photos and great for video as well. But choosing the right one for yourself can actually be quite difficult, and it can be pretty overwhelming sometimes as well. So what I thought I would do is make a little bit of a camera buying guide and talk through some questions I wish someone had told me to ask myself before buying my first camera, because it would have saved me a lot of money over the years and a lot of frustration as well. This is quite a big one to start with, but it is arguably one of the most important things to ask yourself when you are looking at buying a new camera. Because one of the most common things that you do tend to hear sometimes when someone is looking at buying a new camera is, what is the best camera? And I always find that a massively frustrating question, because there is no best camera. There's no such thing, no matter what it is that you're creating. So the best thing that you can ask yourself first up is, what do you shoot? If you're into landscape photography, for example, you might be more interested in a greater dynamic range, weather sealing, or a really nice EVF. If you are a studio portrait photographer, you might be a little bit more interested in color science or different lens options. And if you're into your street photography, size and weight might start to become a lot more valuable to you than, for example, a high megapixel count. And if you wanted something for video as well, that opens up a whole other can of worms, because it might mean that you potentially have to start making compromises in one area to allow for something in another area. Because sometimes some of the specs that might work great for video might have a little bit of a knock-on effect on the camera's performance with photos, and vice versa. It works both ways. That's not the case all of the time, but it can be, and it's something worth looking out for. So it can sometimes just be a little bit of a balancing act between the two, trying to find the right camera for you that works in every situation that you want it to. And especially if you're new to it all, it can be quite daunting. So instead of just chasing the best specs, start with what you are interested in creating. What is your main area of photography, and work backwards from there. And then slowly things will start to make a little bit more sense, and you can start to narrow down your search. The next thing that you should consider is how you shoot. Are you fast and reactive and always on the move, looking out for things that might change very quickly all of the time, and you need to be able to instantly capture that shot without a second thought? Or do you like to take a little bit more of a slow, considered approach to your photography and maybe use a tripod most of the time? How you shoot changes everything. If you're a fast shooter, you might need to think about something like good autofocus performance that you know that can keep up with you and the way that you shoot, and a camera that might feel like it just gets out of the way a little bit more, and it turns into something that might just be a little bit more like an extension of you and your creativity. It turns into second nature, and you can just quickly change everything you need to in that moment to be able to capture the shot. If you're a slower shooter, you might value something a little bit more like ergonomics and a great EVF over anything else like AI autofocus, for example. How you shoot depends on which things you should be looking for in your camera. If you shoot in low light, for example, you might appreciate a really good IBIS system and a sensor that handles noise well. These are all little individual things that go into your shooting style that you should be considering when you are looking for a new camera. And the reason that it is so important to find a camera that suits your style more than anything else is because then you are more likely to want to go and pick the camera up and use it all of the time and be excited about creating with it. If you don't get that feeling of wanting to pick your camera up and being excited about going out and creating things with it, it's probably not the right camera for you and your shooting style. A lot of the cameras that you see on the market now are hybrid cameras, which means they're great for both photo and video. You have to actually look a bit harder these days to find a dedicated photo camera or a dedicated video camera that doesn't do one or the other. Most of the cameras that you buy now are hybrid cameras, just like this. But what that does mean, in some situations, you might potentially have to make a couple of compromises to suit one area over the other. Just like I mentioned earlier, some of the features that are great for photo aren't necessarily good for video. So an important question to ask yourself here is, are you going to be mainly shooting photo, mainly shooting video, or is it an even 50-50 split between all of them? If you're mainly photo focused, for example, you're probably not going to need 6 or 8K video, log profiles, or crazy ProRes RAW video codecs that take up an insane amount of storage. And sometimes a simple megapixel count might be what you are more interested in, or the ergonomics of the camera for your landscape photography, the size of the camera for your street photography. But if you're into your video, suddenly things like a good IBIS system, maybe built-in ND filters, or a camera that has a good amount of options for audio inputs, these things then start to become more important to you. Being honest about this with yourself when you are looking at a new camera will save you a lot of money and frustration, because if, for example, you were to buy a Sony a7S III, a great video first hybrid camera. Maybe your friend uses one and they told you it was a great camera, you've seen other good reviews about it, so you think, oh, I'll just go and get one of them because that's what everyone uses. But you're a landscape photographer. It's not going to suit you in the same way that a more photo-centric hybrid camera would. That's a little bit of a dodgy example, but hopefully it gives you a little bit of a clearer example as to what I mean. For me personally, I am a photographer first, but video is a massive part of what I do, and I have a huge interest in video as well. I make these YouTube videos and I do a lot of video stuff in my client work day to day as well. So I am 50-50, and video features are as important to me as photo features, even though I'm a photographer first. That might not be the case for you, and you might literally be one or the other, just photo or just video, but you really need to know your use case as close as possible before you jump in and start to spend a lot of money. This is where a lot of people tend to go wrong, and they spend everything on getting a brand new camera body with incredible features, the best one that they can possibly afford, and then they forget about lenses. The lenses that you put on your camera are arguably way more important than the camera body that you are putting them on. For example, an 800 quid camera with some really nice lenses on it has the potential to outperform a 3 grand camera with the wrong lenses. So when you are thinking about buying a brand new camera, think about the ecosystem as a whole, including the lenses, and potentially even looking further ahead, looking at the lenses that you know you might want to buy in the future as well. But if you were to buy the wrong body for you as well, you might end up locking yourself into only being able to buy expensive lenses that you don't necessarily need. So again, before you start shopping around as to which camera you might buy, figure out your budget, and then you can start to work backwards from there and figure out what cameras and lenses are available to you with the money that you have available. But don't just blow all of your money on an expensive camera body and stick a cheap lens on it that isn't going to perform very well. Maybe spend a little bit less on a camera body that has the features that you need, and then you can put a bit more money towards a lens, or maybe even 2 lenses, and you're going to get a system that works better for you. Looking for gear secondhand is a really good option, because there are some incredible finds out there for cameras that aren't even necessarily that old, and they are still in incredible condition as well. And it does mean that you are going to be saving a little bit of money on a camera that is still going to last you years and years and years. eBay is good for that sometimes, but one of the best places you can look for second-hand gear is MPB, which is an online marketplace for second-hand cameras. It's a trade-in site. You can trade in your old gear, buy stuff from them, and one of the best things is you see the images of the exact piece of gear that you are going to be buying, so you know exactly what you are buying. And I've used it countless times. It has never let me down once at all. This video isn't sponsored by MPB, but as I've said, I've used them who knows how many times. I've lost count. It's ridiculous how many times I've used MPB, but I wouldn't recommend them if I didn't use them myself. So yeah, I will drop the link in the description so you can go and have a look if you want to. Sensor size is one of the biggest myths in camera buying, similar to megapixel counts. Now, I'm going to get absolutely slammed in the comments for this, I know I am, because I made a video about this not so long ago and it got a little bit heated in the comments. But it is true, whether you like it or not. Full frame cameras are great. I love my full frame cameras. I use full frame cameras every day. These are all full frame, and I would definitely recommend full frame cameras. How many more times can I say full frame in one sentence? But do you need it? Most people don't. Now, larger sensors can help with things like creating a shallower depth of field or potentially low light performance. And if those are some things that you're interested in, great. Full frame cameras might be for you. However, it does have a lot of trade-offs, and that comes in the sense of things like bigger camera bodies, bigger lenses, heavier kit, bigger price tag, for example. And if you're traveling and hiking and carrying your kit around with you all day, everywhere you go, that might mean that a full frame system might not work for you because it's just gonna be too big and heavy for you to carry around. And it might actually mean that sometimes you potentially end up shooting less. So something to bear in mind is to pick what fits your lifestyle, your shooting style, and how you want to be creating with it, and not what the marketing tells you to buy. This is a very quick one, but I think it is quite an important consideration and something you don't actually hear spoken about that much, and that is what annoys you about your current camera. If there aren't too many things that annoy you about your current camera and you're perfectly happy with it, chances are you probably don't need to upgrade to a new camera. If, however, there are a few things that are creeping in that you really frustrate you about the camera you are using, such as maybe it's too big, too heavy, too slow, you don't like the menus, the autofocus performance isn't great, it doesn't do very well in low light. If anything is annoying you about your camera, narrow it down, figure out what it is that is annoying you about it, and then try to solve the problems and figure out what camera it is going to be that is going to help you to solve that problem. So try to solve problems and don't just upgrade for the sake of it. Nobody really talks about this one either, but it is a good thing to think about, and that is which ecosystem fits you long term. A good ecosystem tends to be spoken about as just having a good lens selection, for example. However, there is a little bit more that goes into it, and that is things like accessories, firmware updates, community support, reliability, and just generally having a workflow that feels very natural to how you like to work. You don't need the best brand because there is no such thing as best brand, but what there is a brand that will fit you the best. It is all about choosing the cameras that feel right in your hands and fit your style and how you like to work. Do you get on well with them? And for me, that is Lumix. Now, I've spoke a lot about Lumix cameras on this channel, and this video isn't all about giving you a load of reasons to choose Lumix. These are just the cameras that work really well for me because over the years I've found that they suit my style and my workflow the best. I like the whole ergonomics of how they feel in the hand. I like the image quality, the color science. I like the menu system. I like the whole community around Lumix as well. They are the most reliable camera that I've ever used, and they're constantly providing new firmware updates to all of these cameras to continue improving them all of the time. But as well as all of that, look at which lens mount might suit you the best as well. So for example, Lumix full frame cameras have an L mount, which means that you can use Lumix, Leica, Sigma, Sirui, and even more third-party L mount lenses natively without using any adapters. So that gives you a big pool of lenses to choose from that is growing all of the time with brands bringing out new lenses for the L mount. I think even Blazar, TT Artisan, there's loads more coming all of the time. Some brands and manufacturers might work a little bit differently. So for example, the Canon RF mount isn't open to third-party manufacturers, which means you can only use Canon RF lenses on the Canon RF mount, which might narrow you down a little bit, even though obviously their lens selection is going to be growing all of the time as well. It's just something to take into consideration. It's all just about looking which options suit you the best and not just thinking this is the best camera or this is the camera that I see everyone else using. Figure out your own needs, what you will be using it for, and go from there. This is something that I just want to mention very quickly, just as we round off this video, and it's something that took me far too long to fully understand, and it isn't camera related at all, but it is arguably more important, and that is usually the only thing that will improve your photography is yourself. It's not by relying on buying a new camera or a new lens or a new piece of gear in general. It all comes from you. Gear can obviously support some of those things, and in some situations it is going to make things a little bit easier in terms of your development as a photographer, but it can't replace all of that. And the only thing that is going to truly make a difference to your photography, your video, your filmmaking, whatever it is that you do with your cameras, the only thing that is going to make the biggest difference is the time and effort that you put into learning and developing new skills. That is hands down the most important thing, and it's something that took me a little bit too long to realize. I've made mistakes buying gear that I thought was going to make me better, and I've seen it far too many times where people have bought a new camera thinking it's going to make them better. but it doesn't. You just need a camera that is a tool for you to help you want to go out and learn and want to go out and shoot. That is the only thing that is going to make you a better photographer, filmmaker, videographer, whatever you want to call yourself. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit if you are looking at buying a new camera or upgrading some of your kit. Ask yourself these questions honestly and you'll choose a camera that helps you shoot more and makes you want to go out and create with it. And that is the most important thing. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like what you see on the channel, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I shall see you very soon